What's up, y'all? Just got a haircut, in case y'all can't tell. Alright, today I'm going to be giving you tips on how to make your abs more visible. So, break the video down into two parts. First part is going to be if you have too much body fat, how to get that down. Second part, if you're skinny but still don't have very visible abs, I'm going to give you some tricks on how to make them pop more and build the muscle, make them a little more visible. So obviously, if you have too much fat, you won't be able to see your abs. So losing fat will be key. The ways to do that are diet will be number one. Obviously, diet, if you have a bad diet, everything else is going to be a lot harder. So if you're fat, you're going to want to get into a caloric deficit, which means you're burning more energy than you're taking in. And if you're really having trouble, you can measure this out and look up how much your body needs. Take a little bit less than that and calculate it all. But I don't think that's necessary to lose a good amount of fat. So what you can do, just try and eat less and focus on eating less. And be mindful of if you're eating because you're hungry or if you're eating because you're bored or you're going out and everyone else is eating. Only eat when you're hungry and try and limit yourself a little more. That's how a lot of people can gain weight without even realizing it. All the snacking, all the eating when you're not hungry. And aside from that, you gotta eat the right things. So eating greasy burgers at McDonald's and stuff like that obviously will put on more fat than a chicken breast or turkey burger or something healthy. So if you have your nutrition in check, you can speed that up a lot more by doing cardio or some type of exercise that's going to help you get the fat down. So cardio helps a lot, but you can only do so much cardio and you'll have to run a lot to burn a significant amount of fat. So I suggest putting that in, supplementing it, and if you're fat, definitely do cardio. That'll help you reduce body fat. Another thing is weight training or some type of exercise. So it doesn't have to necessarily be weight training, but fat is just energy stored in the body. So you need to burn that energy somehow. Either by not eating, and your body will use that energy to fuel itself, the actions of your body, or you can burn it by doing actions. So playing basketball, swimming, any type of sport, lifting weights, that'll burn energy. So I suggest if you're most focused on burning fat, just do the things that take a lot of energy. Do the things that'll leave you winded and take all your energy out of you. So for lifting, you can do the bench press, you can do your deadlifts, all your big movements, and since those obviously take the most out of you, those are great for burning a whole lot of energy. And I would say do it a little different than if you're training for strength. So strength, you have your 5x5s, all your heavy lifting, stuff like that. You can bring it a little bit higher if you're trying to burn fat. Burning a little bit higher, maybe not so much grinding reps. So a little more fluid reps, quicker reps, as opposed to when you're on your third rep of a set of 3 and it takes you a whole 1-2 seconds to finish the rep. Try and avoid a little bit of that, a little bit higher volume, and you can increase your sets too. So something like 10x5, 10x6, just something that'll get you sweating mostly. So you're moving on to if you're skinny and you want your abs to be more prominent. That's obviously all the sit-ups, the crunches, stuff like that. So if your stomach's kind of flat, you got to build it up. So one thing could be to include more core dominant variations of the exercise you're doing. If you're doing a seated shoulder press with dumbbells, go ahead and stand up or do it with a barbell. The standing up will engage your core a lot more, and you'll need much more strength. And doing that progressively over time will build up your core strength. And a strong core will generally look pretty good. Same thing with if you're doing leg press, leg extensions, switch that out for walking lunges or a barbell squat. Something like that where you have to balance and actually be athletic in space, much more demand on your core. And for specific ab exercises, I'd say just make sure you're getting your abs properly trained. Tons of people go every morning, do 20 sit-ups or something, and they're focused on the number and they're not really challenging their abs. It's pretty common in ab training. If you, just like any other muscle, if you want it to change and grow, you have to challenge it. So normally I don't even count sit-ups. I just go until it burns, go until I don't want to go anymore, and then squeeze out a few more. That effort really makes the difference. The last few reps that you don't want to do, those are the reps that count the most. And in addition to that, I'd say in an ab routine, I'd try and hit most of the functions of your abs. So some lower abs, anything bringing your legs up, do some twisting for your obliques, and some crunching when your lower half isn't moving. So make sure you do all that stuff to failure, or pretty close to it. And you can think of ab training in the same way as a lot of other muscles. It doesn't have to be all these little exercises that you do and you do it for a set amount of time, then you rest and you do it like a circuit. You can think of it as your big movements and your small movements. So a hanging leg raise, something like throwing a ball against the wall or anything real tough like that. If you got a landmine, you're moving it side to side, or a weighted crunch, you can think of that like your big movements, like a bench press or a squat. And the little ones, crunches, planks, the stuff that's easier for you, maybe some bicycles, those are your chest flies and your lunges and your leg extensions. So you could do a really hard ab exercise and then immediately drop set into an easier one to really burn through failure. And just make sure you're challenging yourself. Don't just think, oh, I did a good amount of reps, I'm good to go. Got to challenge yourself every time. All right, so I hope these tips helped. Go ahead, get those washboard abs, guys. All right, see you next time.